was brought up on the other side, Kenton. Born in Scotland Road and then brought up in Kenton.
So you're a proper West Ender, Scotland Road?
Yeah, the old Scotland Road was a fascinating place.
Wow.
I was there till I was about 4 or 5, and then we moved up to Kenton when the new estates were built up there, which were lovely. We lived on the edge of the moor, the town, the Nuns Moor. Nice. And yeah, but I used to, my grandmother lived there, so I used to love to go and stay with her down in Scotland Road. I loved it.
Good.
I was just a new priest then, because I wasn't ordained until I was 37, and I taught in secondary schools in Newcastle, and then went to be ordained, went to the seminary, early 80s.
Usher College?
Usher, yeah, I went to Usher for 4 years.
I mean, that's, I'm quite surprised by that, because I kind of imagine most priests went from Catholic school to seminary to priesthood. You see, it was.
There used to be in the old days, because there used to be a system going back to up until the 70s, where you might go to the seminary at 11, and then that would be like your secondary school, almost like a private school, and then at 18 would choose, or not to, whichever, to go into the senior seminary and then train for 6 years for the priesthood. But that stopped around about the mid-70s, and most guys then went from, young lads went at 18, when they left school, 6th form. Most of them seemed to do that, then went to seminary, and then would go on to university, and then back to the seminary. So there was a bit of flexibility. And but by my time, which was about the mid-80s, there was more and more guys like myself in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s even, who were, making decisions to apply for the priesthood. So I was 32. And I applied and was accepted into Usher.
Just what I want to ask is, you're a priest in Newcastle, an active priest, and you've been a priest for some years now. And I just wonder, the world has changed so much in 20 years. Where I'd say there are more challenges to just believing in God now. Because of I personally feel technology plays a role, and various other factors. But I mean, what are your experiences as a priest in Newcastle? Do you think that what we're told about how most people are atheists now, this, that and the other, do you think that's a load of rubbish? Or have you personally seen a decline in belief in God, or have you seen an increase in belief in God?
There's two things. I would say that, as in most churches, there are less people coming to church. Right. That's from our perception. But I'm heartened because my area here is mainly largely student area. Somebody asked me just this the other day, and I'm quite heartened by the number of young people who come to church.
Whoa, okay.
I'm quite heartened by it. I'm not saying it's a vast number. I'm not saying there's huge numbers coming, but I'm heartened by the number and the quality who choose. Many of them are students or medical students, quite a lot of medical students. And for them to make that commitment in an environment, especially the medical environment, where belief in God is not exactly top of anybody's list, by my understanding, I would say, I'm heartened, and the quality, the commitment,
that's good.
is there. I'd like to think, as the tide of ebb fades away in my lifetime. I was born in 1948, just after the war. Those who choose to have faith tend to be more committed, more knowledgeable, by and large. And even those who are, you might say, the simple, ordinary, faithful, they're good people.
And also, Father, how do you think that people of faith, serious people of faith, who do take it seriously, how do you think we can try, obviously in the nicest way possible, to try and bring back moral values into Britain? Because as a Christian and as a Muslim, we do differ on some things, and we accept that. But when it comes to how we should live our lives, I think Muslims, Christians, Jews, even Buddhists, I think we have so much in common. And how do you think we can try and put right some of the shortcomings in the society?
I think first and foremost it's a witness by the quality in the way you live your life, because I do hear people will talk about how on an individual level, how when they meet somebody of faith, of whatever faith as you describe, when they meet them of faith and see a difference it makes in their lives, in the way they live their lives, usually in the way they reach out to others, the quality. For example, my father, who just died a few weeks ago, who lives in Newcastle, and his next door neighbour was a family, a Muslim family, moved in next door, and what was, my father was traditional, you know, English, kind of a bit worried about this. It seemed like something foreign moving very next door to him, and what he was really impressed, and I was impressed by the quality of care of the Muslim family that they took in my father.
Oh, that's
there were two doctors, and the lady of the house used to come and bring my dad meals, because he lived on his own for many years. I mean, my dad was very fit and active, could move around, but he really appreciated the care that the Muslim family next door took of him, and that made a big change in his life. And he appreciated, you know, and it was quite a challenge to me as a Catholic priest, and my father was a practicing Catholic, and to say, now, if I moved in next door to somebody, would I have been as welcoming and as open as these people of faith next to me? And I thought all the neighbours around, because they when they moved in, they knocked on people's doors as neighbours and just said, we're here, and if anything we can do, because they were mainly elderly, and that was lovely. That's good. It really was. And they didn't just do it to begin with. They moved away now, but ever since they've kept in touch, and their father, the husband's father, lived nearby, and he would still knock on my dad's door and say, how you doing?
That's good.
And that was really impressive. It may seem a small thing, I think, but the witness, consistent witness of people of faith, makes a huge difference, I think.
You know, Father, what I think I've taken from what you've just said there is the importance of practicing what we preach, because as a Muslim who's active in, well, I'll tell you about our organisation in a moment, but in passing on the message of Islam, you know, I think what you've said to me there has reminded me that if you just all talk, you know, nobody's going to listen. You've got to practice what you preach. You know,
I think it's about presence, peaceful presence.
I agree.
And the way we live our lives, and the way we stand up with integrity, I think, and I think that presence really touches people.
Okay.
In a consumerist society, you know, where everything's for sale and everything looks for show, to see people who really live what they believe in, I think is a marvellous witness.
That's brilliant. Okay.
Across all faiths, I think that's really powerful.
The reason why I came is to tell you about our organisation, IDC, Islamic Diversity Centre. Our catchphrase, if you like, is challenging stereotypes and removing misconceptions.
Right.
And we're dedicated to giving people a balanced understanding of Islam, because I mean, you no doubt watch TV occasionally, and you see the kind of Muslims that get on TV. They're not you know, our star members, basically. They're often like black sheep, to be honest. So
we've all got them.
Yeah, well, so we're not a mosque, and we're not affiliated with any mosque. We're really a bunch of people born or at least raised in Britain who are Muslims, who weren't happy and are not happy about the way Islam's presented on the media. So we try to give people just our point of view, basically, an alternative point of view, and so that's what we do. And I wanted, I really want, ideally, all of the churches in Newcastle to know about us, just in case there's ever anything that you want to do with any Muslims or anything. So you have all our contact details. A bit about what we do and our contact details. And there's our business card there.
Lovely.
Looks like I forgot to put some things in a minute, but basically the essentials are in there. So
That's great.
You're an elder.
Thank you very much indeed.
And thanks very much for inviting us into your lovely house and giving me a nice cup of coffee. And it's been lovely meeting you, Father.
That's great.
Thanks very much.
And you too. And you too.
Brilliant.